Imagine waking up one day and realizing that everything prophesied thousands of years ago is happening right before our eyes. The advancement of technology, geopolitical conflicts, and the rise of digital surveillance point to a scenario that seems to come straight from the pages of Revelation. But are we on the verge of witnessing the fulfillment of biblical prophecies? Every day, new inventions like the Internet of Things IoT, brain chips, and artificial intelligence AI promise us a more efficient and connected world. However, few recognize the hidden dangers behind these innovations. Total control, thought monitoring, and the possible arrival of the so-called mark of the beast raise serious spiritual and ethical questions. Could we be approaching a global system of domination that paves the way for the Antichrist? Moreover, the signs in the world are increasingly alarming. The rise of international conflicts, threats of nuclear war, and economic instability suggest that we are living in critical times. Israel, a key piece in biblical prophecy, is at the center of events that could trigger irreversible global changes. If the book of Daniel and Revelation are correct, the tribulation may be closer than we think. But how does all of this connect? How can we discern prophetic signs amidst so many changes? And most importantly, how can we spiritually prepare for what is to come? In this video, we will explore each of these topics, revealing truths that many do not want you to know. The world is changing at an astonishing speed, and much of this transformation comes from technological revolution. The Internet of Things IoT and the Internet of Bodies IoB are no longer futuristic concepts. They are among us and shaping our daily lives. However, while many see this as progress, those who study biblical prophecies begin to notice a concerning pattern. After all, could this evolution be part of a larger plan that brings us closer to the scenario described in the book of Revelation? It is no secret that governments and corporations seek more control over society, but now this oversight goes beyond what we can imagine. Biometrics, artificial intelligence AI, and devices connected to our bodies promise greater security and efficiency, but also raise serious concerns. We are being monitored all the time, whether through our phones, virtual assistants, or even facial recognition cameras spread everywhere. Could this be the first step toward an unprecedented global surveillance system? The Bible warns us about a time when humanity will be subjected to total control, where no one will be able to buy or sell without a specific sign. Revelation 1:3-1:6-1:7 describes a scenario that, until recently, seemed impossible to materialize. But today, with the growing digitization of the economy and the imposition of new technologies, such a system no longer seems so distant. What many call evolution may actually be paving the way for the implementation of the so-called mark of the beast. Faced with all this, an inevitable question arises: to what extent are these innovations merely technological advances, and when do they become a spiritual threat? Are we blindly accepting tools that could, in the future, be used against us? More than ever, we need to be aware of the signs, because what once seemed like fiction is becoming reality. And the next step? It may be closer than we imagine. Technology has been advancing rapidly, and the Internet of Things IoT is one of the pillars of this revolution. Today, our smartphones, smartwatches, household appliances, and even cars are interconnected, collecting real-time data to make our lives more convenient. It sounds like a dream, right? But what if this unlimited connectivity is not just a tool for convenience, but also a means for unprecedented surveillance? Are we really in control, or are we being watched more and more? Every device we use constantly records our actions, habits, and preferences. Our voice assistants listen to what we say, our smartphones track where we are, and even digital locks know what time we leave and return home. Now, imagine a world where this interconnected network is used not only to facilitate everyday tasks, but also to monitor and perhaps restrict our behavior. Does that sound exaggerated? Know that governments and corporations already have technologies capable of cross-referencing this data to create detailed profiles of each individual. If we analyze it in light of Scripture, we realize that IoT may be aligned with the prophecies about absolute control in the end times. Revelation 13 mentions a system where no one can buy or sell without a specific mark. Now, with the digitization of the economy and the rise of cashless payments, a system based on digital authentication no longer seems far-fetched. And if one day, for some reason, you're prevented from accessing your own resources simply because you did not fit into certain pre-established standards, what was once just a theory is beginning to take shape in the real world. The question is no longer if this can happen, but when and how it will be implemented. The World Economic Forum is already discussing the possibility of global digital identification systems integrating biometrics, online behavior, and even social scores. And so, little by little, we are heading toward a future where individual freedom may become nothing more than an illusion. Are we prepared for what comes next? If the Internet of Things (IoT) already seems advanced, imagine a world where not only our devices are connected but also our own bodies. This is no longer science fiction, it is reality. The Internet of Bodies (IoB) takes technology inside us, with wearable devices, implantable sensors, and even chips that monitor our health. But while the promise is of a healthier and more efficient future, few perceive the risks this technology may pose. Are we approaching an unprecedented level of control? Companies have already developed biochips that can store medical information, replace credit cards, and even allow doors to open with a simple gesture. At first glance, it seems like a great innovation, never having to carry keys or documents again. But what if these implants become mandatory to access essential services? If one day you needed a biochip to validate your identity, work, or even buy food, what is optional today could easily become compulsory, eliminating any individual choice. The Bible warns us about a global control system where people will not be able to buy or sell without a specific mark. Revelation 131,617 shows us that this system will be imposed, and IoB may be the means through which it is implemented. Imagine a scenario where your identity, bank account, and medical history are all integrated into a single device within your body. Any system failure could block your access to society. Any wrong decision could simply deactivate your digital existence. Does this still seem distant? What's most concerning is that this transition is happening subtly, without most people realizing it. First, there are devices that help with health, then those that facilitate payments, and then those that monitor your thoughts and emotions. Gradually, acceptance becomes widespread, and before we know it, we are already part of the system of absolute control. The question is no longer if this will be imposed, but when. Are you ready for this new reality? What once seemed like science fiction is already happening. Implantable brain chips are becoming a reality. Neuralink, Elon Musk's company, has taken an impressive step by developing an implant capable of connecting the human brain directly to computers. The promise is revolutionary, treating neurological diseases, allowing quadriplegics to control devices with their minds, and even expanding human cognitive abilities. But could this technology have a hidden side? If this message resonated with you, do not keep it to yourself. Share this video, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel to continue following these essential topics. Turn on notifications so you don't miss any updates. Together, we can awaken more people to the truth and strengthen ourselves for what is to come. May God bless your life.